Now, there's something happening. The Akuffo Addo government, as we speak, say Ghana is going to be one of the cleanest cities in Africa and I think in the world. This is their city here. Since Akuffo Addo mo ebedi adie MPP bedi adie, we have not seen any major development when it comes to a year sanitation. So obi nimbibi ba ko on kanchire me. The only sanitation there adie MPP to become one so omaye toilet. Now when it comes to drainage, when it comes to flooding in Accra, we have seen government that took initiative. We have seen government that tried to solve it. And how did they do it? You can start from Atamils all the way to Muhammad's administration. Sibia at Circle, because our sewage system, how water in Soto, a flood was Circle, a fuel station blow up a Ghana for we. A government decided, led by John Mahama, say we need to make sure we correct this into young fixes Circle. And then Dubai by Ever seen there, we have not heard of any such disasters. Ever seen there. It might not be 99-100%, but at least that's why we vote. There's continuation in government. Ebia Mahama, there were some tiny drainages here. It was not done properly. And then the severeness of the flood, I call from there 90%. 2 or 10% now can the government should continue and fix it. Now, Yatina Kromama in Soto and 10 minutes, ye never be a Ghana for Bejina. When you talk about a sanitation, how the government has solved sanitation in Ghana, especially in Accra, it is zero. The government of the day cannot mention one thing they have done infrastructure-wise to change the face of sanitation in Ghana. And as citizens, who are we supposed to be asking questions? Who are we supposed to be blaming? Because you as a citizen Ghana, who tax, who tour, the we say, or minor, and I say, a bind this as etu pon bia make decisions bia se nipa na mti krom kra enim raswa aban na hihye obehye no ebe na dia ma nipa na se obebu mra no so na aban no so make sure say obe na apa na fa se na be na fa ne se a project also a massive project that individuals into me and aban be ye. There are two things the government needs to do. And international Mahama time now, even though the Mahama administration was having a problem with we Ghanaians yenyankase sanitation they had to take some of the responsibility, in fact, majority of the responsibility about circle issue now. And the John Mahama administration decided, say, to work and have an order pass at circle so that drains, can be led somewhere. Now, and the in so funny power Ghana, in so 10 minutes a day, now, as a journalist, what do? What journalists do is our responsibility is to speak for the people. You can't nipa na de do makoma so kira ban no na ma ban no pressure na ban na ye because enuntina itimemufo no tua omoto. That is the basic job. Now in so to flat about Ghana nipa ewu. Now this is what Afia Pokua eye vim lady na mo frɛ no wakotena America what end what America wo America na de bia eba TV so amose ye de mema yemra Ghana no wo free efuo nim abetena America obeden onyem obewo nefu ebo ho se aketiaba waba America akosi broni na acheche America wabetina Maryland obewa ho afa no ho afa ne ba yede ne kwa akoto edan ba akumo no nko a ne yede machines esisi ni so na wawo complications bi anim owia na de ba no waba America ni ti seme owia no aka kire wo se Kevin Taylor kwasi campaign ti Facebook na all kase Ghana for de journalist ne mwa Ghana and Ghana for came Ghana for bre in so 10 minutes we create problem no aka kire Ghana for so Akuffo Addo da ba de bi si da MPP de nim nyansa entafo aban ene awonafo aban a eye NDC no mutumi mwa Ghana for abra na nuclear infrastructure work when it comes to sanitation the NDC here no owie na trom odene jantra betena ha oye den obewo onyem ne futua ho ene the picture we to Facebook and I'll say somewhere in Florida where there is glass and blah 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 obeso che Ghana for say in so na eto na efa Ghana for no adena mu blame aba no mumma mum blame Akuffo Addo aban MPP aban ne akamfo aban enye kura ye magimi na America kura nsuo to e ma flade ono no argument nie enso mi ken ankobetuma wo Ghana mi ken John Mahama si Ridge Hospital o si super modern ultra modern hospitals regional hospitals this to ankobetuma tena Accra wo busa ho sa adenti no free Accra ba America bewo mumu se Afia Pokua nenim jebri se bonsam bi na ase ne se adenti no free Ghana so obetena America obewo ne ba America wo hu se nipa wo baby ena moa wo baby it will create that damage, you know. We create Santro na to no obetena America, Maryland obewo ha. Make them pictures very soon. And these are the things we talk about. Now the question is, a journalist to me tell say America flooded into flood or Ghana ewo Akuffo Addo abremu amayen kasa ye fe Jimmy nye din. We me kasa obi say Kevin de odidi atem. Kevin de ombunipa na so kwasia ka kwasia oka kwasia kasa ye de kwasia kasa na yina no. Se okwasia oka kwasia kasa ye de kwasia kasa na yina no. Oh, so today in the Florida flat inti Ghana flood Akuffo Addo time inti Ghana na munyina mu ye campaign say ye galamsey e wo Ghana inti John Mahama ya boa or teni Ghana for ntuntia no mu bie ma no plain kan TV say mu ntuntia NDC no mo mwaye say America ye galamsey wa ha na adenti na America ye galamsey no onka say omo ye galamsey wa ha on say ye galamsey ma na ama ye kunipa won say ye galamsey ma excavator yakohye ema MPs afa. But let's stick to this matter. And the ignorance of these foolish people who got opportunity to sit behind cameras. We all me journalists vote. We mono ede wanwatio and the con cry dia obekasa and odini Jimmy abetna Peace FM. Ho kan or the kwam silver kamo and omo misinform me. And we betna happen obewo ama de baba dara Americani asade ne kwase abekasa montuma MPP. Na mame educating ne kakrebi na me educate Ghana for who say some way enisi more space. They are working for their stomachs. They are foolish people who don't think about their people. You are comparing America, Florida to Ghana, Accra. Now look at this. You see this? Over America, sometimes we need to break it down for them to understand. And then MPP. Now, when it comes to America, Florida, FloridaDisaster.org. Say Ghana or Nadmo, your federal government a binankasa. Now see this. Flood mitigation assistance program. Obian himself Florida a below sea level. Yaka say below sea level. Florida baby in sotwa epuni ripe fakronim. Accra is not below sea level. Florida issue that when you go to Florida, South Florida pa and asade nisi flood in nisi. Now that's South Florida, no. Anytime it rains a little bit, because basically the coastal side of the US. Majority of the people are living closer to the sea and below sea level. Into a natural course. And nature and a but Akwesi Broni put in place policies to make sure say in Suno resi high. That's a first South Florida cry. They have put things in place to make sure say nipa no my imagine say no metina no aban no betumi akushi no mo and making sure say at least they have some hope. They can rely on the government because where somebody wants to live in America, you cannot tell them to move. Enti baby sa girl we could try video better say America cry flood no. Let me educate this fool. And yes, what about Wakorano? Yes, you empesa America for Kwarabi Jimmy for anything a me way. If it was because of Afia Pokua and coming yet, but it is because of Akorana shed him no obewo America na high dancer for netia. It's my me dinka educated na fan mojim na mfa Akorani tim send be Akorani pure be nyansani onye Jimmy need to so no. Now see what on the screen and say flood mitigation assistance program. The flood mitigation assistance program is funded by FEMA and administered through a partnership with the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Basically, bro, friend, you say a year flood mitigation assistance. No, omu FEMA need to say a NADMO. Omu ena making sure say sa enyoma nyina omu hweso. Omu ne a Florida for no and kako Florida na say ebi Accra na bokwa a NADMO Accra for mayor Metropolitan Assembly no. Eye Nadmo general one no omuni ye adwuma sana Akwesi Broni aye no na okwe ni mo say FDEM has the authority and responsibility for developing and maintaining a state hazard mitigation plan, reviewing flood mitigation assistance program sub applications, recommending technically feasible and cost effective sub-application to FEMA and providing pass-through funding to FEMA approved and awarded project grants to eligible sub-applicants. Now, almost system bi wo ha. Omunim se ehono eye below sea level in so ta majority of the time 99% of the time in so ni be yiri na abano. Also tia say Accra enye below sea level. In so ta eponi yiri emfa Accra kuro nim. Eye yeni nipa no sibia ya set up Accra no enema in so ni yiri. So between Yene and Florida no critically no we should be able to solve that flooding problems. Florida for no they have to be at the end of the day omo cause more advantage because we dey eye podo na eba ye ne dey na betu aye ho but Afia Pokua America na catch them say a flood was South Florida it is a flood or Ghana de Akuffo Addo kura bofam kwase anye din wa ba America be wo but be se me bie mu ani na mu hu de AC sa comparison na ye no ensesa bibia o the issue is omo misleading mo omo ma Akuffo Addo sa failure na we fail na omo pe bibi de akata so MPP are buying failing no more failing no. Omo pe entrobi e dia kata so. Now so ko ani ma hwe bibi. Ma minya boto nam cheche nyoba bi mu kire mo. Mo wi am kan che Afia Pokua say sa jimisem no ye twam. We are doing fact checking here. Yem nye sa radio nkwase nkurasesem no abetena Maryland be wo America ma oba America ni kwasiasem Ghana for kasa say Accra flooded the government should take initiative. Odo kwasiatia post video say glass nkwa na flood ho. Mujimi no ena mudia ni nema bedru ha ye be correct mo sa nkwase ade na mo aye from this years ena mudia say Ghana bedru ha now mo hwa de when you see this America buy no sika say no mo de share eye flood prevention mo over Florida and I said the whole country. Now federal funding for Florida recovery from Hurricane Irma tops $2 billion. In 2019 hurricane be hit Florida and around the United States, U.S. government spend almost $2 billion. And remember, Florida is below sea level. And Kobibeka say, hey, na mo pena makwatena ho. Inso ni epuni yiri a yakase muntu ho, but American ye wono. That is where somebody wants to live. And anything and the over Washington DC a dan beton no a year 5 bedroom re beton be $2 million. No Florida beton be $700,000 because of those kind of things, insurance issues. Omnium said the probability of your house getting flooded, especially in South Florida, no, it is higher. So you have higher insurance, but the property they are boy for, and so insurance no are expensive. Because every year your house will be flooded and the insurance companies will have to take care of some of them. It's easy and normal as that. And simple it rains in Florida, it floods in Florida. So when it floods in Accra, we don't have the right to question it. Now when the journalists know, we are pro. Now when you read, it says this, released date, July 20, 2020. And a release number, NR 486. This is what it said. Orlando, Florida, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has provided more than $2 billion to the state of Florida and communities affected by Hurricane Irma to defray the costs of emergency response and repair to public facilities caused by the 2017 storm. Sorry, the storm was in 2017. So a burning tam $2 billion no the coho and or the mass state no. And to say in Suato Afanko for one crime. Now federal government, Ghana government no at tam $2 billion. Ediama Accra Metropolitan Assembly said this is the money. Facilities. Nyoma says say yeah, it was a buying making sure no. When was the last time the government of Ghana released decent money for a year NADMO to effectively do their job? When was the last time who say the government of Ghana and then ever seen there Emma Nadmo Sika move to me make changes in the setup of Accra, the sanitation problem and all that. This government is still owing Accra Metropolitan Assembly. This government is still owing NADMO. This government is not resourcing the most important institutions that will stop flooding. This government is not doing its part. So as a journalist who reads wide, something should prick you. Say, let me do my checks before I put any nonsense out there. Now, when you go down there, you say, in a total, FEMA Public Assistance PA program has provided $2 billion in grants to state and local governments and certain non-profits, including houses of worship. Sorry, the government gave them money for them suffering from the flood. Uko we say recovering from the hurricane, the amount includes ma menche o sika sibi obo che sika no. Ne jai sa tete nkurase for journalism na. Moko hu bibi kwasie bia na beto na mo pese omo mo ready omo nim de omo ye na mo de be brainwash wan. Ye ma mo sa space ni biom kwasia de we betwa